I was thinking about racism and discrimination. When you sit at the window, you have a tea, maybe some snacks, and then you think like, racism. What's up with that? And then I was thinking that I didn't actually experience any in-your-face discrimination in Amsterdam. And I'm living here since a few years. There was no like really an occasion where I was like, that was yum yum yum. That was a nice portion of racism or discrimination. And that was different when I was younger. I used to live in Germany. And I have a Turkish background. And then I was thinking, what is my earliest memory of discrimination? How I feel I experienced discrimination. How young was I, and what did I experience? And I was remembering two cases which I would like to tell you about. And I hope that you will be able to see that even racism can turn into something beautiful sometimes. So the first case is I was in primary school. That's first grade in primary school, which is in Germany. You are 7 years old. So new school, new teachers. You see the teachers for the first time, the kids in your class for the first time. And there was a girl called Veronica. Veronica always wanted to be next to me. She was always standing next to me. She always wanted to sit next to me. She wanted to share the pencils with me and always nagging. You know how it is. The primary school crush, the young love. And that went on for like a few days when school started. And then we were all in class, and another teacher came in. And that other teacher, the teacher asked, who here is Turkish? Because they were offering Turkish classes after school like once a week or so. So the teacher asked, who's Turkish? So I raised my hand, and I noticed I remember how Veronica was looking at me. With like a surprised, shocked, almost like a disgusted facial expression. And after that, she didn't talk to me anymore. She didn't want to stand next to me. She didn't want to sit next to me. She didn't want to share pencils. And yeah, that was the end of the young love. And what I even find more remarkable is that I remember when the teacher asked that question. I remember then when I was before I even raised my hand, I knew that when I raise my hand now, people will think different about me. That's what I clearly remember. And I don't blame Veronica. We were 7. You don't know what what her parents told her or what she experienced. Maybe she was on a playground and somebody called Mehmet, pissed in her face or something. You never know. But that's what I remember really clearly. The other case, I was even younger. This is when I was in kindergarten. I think maximum like 5, maximum 6 years old. We were living in a tall building on the second floor, and our neighbors were a German family, very lovely German family, and they had a kid same age as I am, and the same kindergarten. Her name was Sarah. So sometimes my mother took me and Sarah to the kindergarten. Sometimes Sarah's mother took Sarah and me to the kindergarten. On this day, Sarah's mother was meant to take us to the kindergarten. And I remember how we walked downstairs from the second floor to the first floor. And at the staircase downstairs, at the end, there was in big fat letters, it said, Ausländer raus, which translated means fuck off immigrants or foreigners, leave this country. And a lot of swastikas everywhere. So Sarah's mother was super upset about this. So she ran upstairs to get cleaning stuff to erase the racist writing. And I remember how I was waiting downstairs with Sarah, and then I saw Sarah's mother coming downstairs super quickly to finish racism. And she was running, and like, no disrespect, beautiful woman, and she had really big boobs. And I remember how she was running so quickly, the boobs were just bouncing up and down. And I looked at it and I found it like there was a certain beauty to it, even though I was 5. And I knew I'm seeing the future. And that was beautiful. I was like really happy about the racist guy who wrote this stuff. So I wished he would like move in the first level and write even more, so I can always wait downstairs until Sarah's mother comes downstairs. But this is the case where you see racism can turn into something beautiful. What up? How's it going? Have you gotten yourself some COVID yet? Huh? No? Some COVID-19? Don't get the fake thing. Don't get 15 or 16 or something. It needs to be COVID-19. I actually was in close contact with COVID, and I had to get tested. What happened is I had a date. We went to the park with some blankets, so we were pretty close. And it was a good date. And when I reflect on it, I think it was so good that there must have been some viruses around, It was a threesome between me, her, and COVID. It was like, it was nice. We also had we had a nice red wine. And I tell you, red wine it just goes perfect with COVID. So when you ask yourself, which wine should I drink when I get COVID? I tell you, it's dry red wine. And then 2 days later, she's sick. Or 3 days later, she's sick. She has some fever. She feels better the next day. And then 2 days later again, she's sick. She has some fever. And she even lost her sense of smell. And that's and I thought the same as you think right now. You should get yourself a COVID positive girlfriend when you like Mexican food. I think that's perfect. When you can't control the ventilator in the back, the fart machine is too strong, the air control goes crazy. It must have been perfect to have a positive COVID girlfriend, and she got tested. Ba-bing, ba-boom, positive. COVID positive. 2 days later, I have some symptoms. I have a pain in my throat, and I have some fever dreams. Yeah. So I have to get tested. So I go there, get tested. There's like a security guy in the front. He asks you, do you have an appointment, like a bouncer, guest list? You say yes, and he says, okay. And then you go in the hall. It's a big hall, and there are like several stations. You stand in line, and then first you talk to somebody behind a plastic glass, and then they ask you for your ID, and when everything is fine, they give you a tube with a blue liquid in it. With that, you stand in line, and at your station, there are like curtains, and behind those curtains, people get tested. The testers are there. So it was my turn. I went to the testing station, and you see on the table there are like a bunch of tests which have been already samples which already have been taken, and then you see your tester. And my tester, she seemed pretty attractive, from what you can see. Like she's a full coverage and like a plastic thing and a face mask, but her eyes and the way she spoke and the way she moved, attractive tester. So she told me to sit down at the chair, a higher chair, and then she came towards me and she gave me a tissue. And I thought, how does she know? But then she told me, it's for blowing your nose. And so I took the tissue, blew my nose, and there was a garbage bin in front of me, and this is where I really fucked up. There was a garbage bin, and it was quite full, and I don't wanted my tissue to not go in and fall off, so I squeezed my tissue on the things which were in the garbage bin. And then I noticed there are a bunch of tissues from other people with most likely corona, and I'm touching a bunch of COVID tissues. And then as I did this, I knew what kind of a fucking idiot I am. Then I was just sitting there with my COVID hand. And I was holding my COVID hand like this in front of the tester. And then she spoke to me, and I didn't really get what she was saying because I could not really follow because I was concentrating on my COVID hand. And then she said it again, and then I noticed, okay, I have to open my mouth. She sticks something in, and then she takes the same stick and then she puts it in your nose. And she just doesn't put it in your nose. Like it felt like she's trying to take a sample out of my brain. It was like I don't know. She should have she should have invited me for like lunch or something after that. It was too deep. After that I even told her like that was deep, and then she said, yeah, I like that too. And then she took everything off, and then she like threw the samples on the ground, and we made love on the table. COVID love. And everybody was clapping, and we created the cure. But let's go back where it was still true. So she took the sample out of my nose. She puts it in the tube. There are like stickers on for your number, and she adds it to the other samples, and then she says, "That's it." And then I went home, and I was going home and cycling with my hand as far as possible. I looked like a real idiot cycling, I think. And I went home. I didn't touch anything with my left hand, and then I showered my COVID hand for like 15 minutes or something. And I got my tests, my results back the next day. Baboom, negative. But I don't know if they didn't test my hand. The rest of my body is negative. My hand, I'm not sure yet. Has not been tested yet. Yeah, and that was the whole process, how you get tested here. And I think now it's the time for your favorite segment. It's Online Love 101, your online dating guides. Those are crucial times we are living in. We have a dark winter COVID ahead of us, and you don't want to be alone in this time. You need a warm body around you. You need some safety, some security. Even I look for a committed relationship until mid-February, 15th of February. I would even be open for negotiations until the end of February, because I know it's important in this time. You need some you need the time to spend it with somebody. You can't go to a bar, you can't go in a restaurant, you can't go in a club, get drunk and rub yourself against somebody on the dance floor. So what is important at the moment is your online game. You need to level up your online game, and this might help you. I will provide some basic guides. What I will do is I will show from what is important for males to be successful online and what is important to females to be successful in the online game. Let's start with the guys. What is important for you guys? I would recommend to have 3 to 4 profile pictures. 3 is a sweet spot, 4 is still okay. Everything above 4 is too much, less than 3 is not enough. And how should your pictures, how should they look like? They should be, they should have like a positive energy, which means it can be a smile, it can be with your eyes, it can be with your body language, something where you just shine, where you spread some positivity. And I would recommend one of the pictures to be an activity that might also be the focus of the conversation. An activity, it can be playing pool, cycling, running around, climbing, or whatever it is. It's one activity, 3 to 4 pictures. Make sure it's a clear picture, high quality. Put your upper body on it as well. And have one picture where you look into the camera and have one picture where you look away from the camera. What that will do is, when you look into the camera, you give her your attention, and then you look away. And subconsciously, when you look away and you look before in the camera, she will want your attention back. So it's subconsciously a trick how to manipulate her desire to get your attention back. It's a smart thing. I would advise to do so. Just one picture to the camera, one picture away. For your profile text, not too long, also not too short. I would say like 10 to 15 lines. Try to not make it generic. Leave out all the generic shit, which is traveling, gym, or whatever it is. Be a little bit more creative, and try to find something where the conversation can end up to. She might like text you because you said something in your profile text. Then boom, boom, ba-boom, ba-bing, you have something to talk about. And then there are, once you have a match, there are some strict no-nos which you should always avoid. One of them is simple: never lead the conversation with starting with "How are you?" or never ask "How are you? How are you doing?" because that's just generic small talk, and 99% of the time, nothing really comes out of it where you can lead and create the conversation from. The same goes for what are you doing? How was your weekend? What are you doing today? What did you do yesterday? Yeah, leave that shit out. It's also the same 99% of the time, just some shit is coming out of it, nothing which might evolve into an interesting conversation. Also, never tell her that she reminds you of your father. Trust me, that's never good. Then, once you have a conversation going, what should you do? Try to, once you have a match and once you write the first messages, try to make it individual, which means search for something in her profile, maybe a picture. Is it a profile text? Is it something she mentioned as a hobby? Something where you can create an interesting conversation around, where it might involve some charm, some compliments, some funny aspects, and so on. Try to find something and create or start the conversation around that. Be just creative about it. Don't write a text and then just copy paste it to everybody, because that will just, you might be lucky with 2 or 3, but in the end it will just be generic and you will get bored from it, and they will notice it's just a generic shit you're sending around. From a female perspective, what is important to be successful online for a female? Let's check it out. Register, be registered, and that is it. Yeah, just log in. All right. Now we just have a look on an example. It's on an example, my example, where I matched with somebody and how I created the conversation. And it's one of my all-time favorite conversations I had. And we will just check it out and then possibly learn from it as well. All right. So let's have a look on the match, what we can find there. So we see here we matched, or I matched with M. She is you see her name, it's M. You see her age, you see some tags, photography, music, art, movies, walking. That doesn't give us a lot. It's pretty generic. I know a lot of people who like walking. The profile text is not very deep. It just has a name. It's possibly her Instagram or something. And we look at the picture. It's one picture, not more. It is a selfie, lovely lady. And we see that in the background, she is doing her dishes. So that might be something you have in common. And that's what you have here. And let's see what I decided to go for, how I created the conversation. Now we check the text, and you will see I focused on her name. All right, so this is how I started. I said, is that how guys stutter when they talk to you? M. That's the start. And what do we see in this? We see some charm in it. We see a little bit of creativity. It's also ridiculous, but it's a better start than, hey, how are you? And in order to not be just on the ridiculous side, I also decided to follow up and lead the conversation into something where a conversation can evolve to. So you see here, I follow up with another question where I say, you seem far away. Where do you live? All right. So let's recap. It was a charming start, bit funny, a little bit ridiculous, but also creative, everything involved. And then you also lead the conversation into somewhere with a decent question. And let's see how she replied, how she reacted to this. In Lithuania. And that's it for the moment. When we recap this, you had a good start, and she replied, she said in Lithuania. All right, it is a decent start, I would say, and maybe she's busy, maybe she's on the road or doing something, so she was laughing about the start, and then she was just able, to just say where she is at the moment, and the conversation, will go afterwards more in a deep way. So I decided to follow up and just get the conversation going. So I say, oh, okay, have you just been to Amsterdam or Germany? And let's see her reply now. No. All right, let's recap this for the moment. You had a good start. I found something on the picture, her name, on her profile, her name, where I can focus on. I wrote something which was charming, a little bit ridiculous, and then I followed up with a conversation, with a lead. I think I used 28 to 30 words. Let's see how many she used. It's 1, 2, 3. Is it one? It's three words. All right. So maybe I was doing it wrong. Maybe I should just adapt to her lead. It was maybe I was just, it was not the right way to go. That's why I follow with the following approach, with the following reply. I write, here you see it, I write, okay. And let's see how she replies to this. She likes it. It's really good. It's going well now, as you see. We even have a heart, and it's going in the right direction. And then I thought, let's just take off this conversation and let's go very deep. So my next reply is, so what are your plans to solve the long-lasting crisis in Middle East? You seem very ambitious and well-spoken. And what did she reply? She didn't reply, and now it's like several weeks or months, but it's I know her a bit now, and I believe that she has a solution, but it's not an easy question. She's preparing the final concept of the solution, and I'm really I really believe in this connection, and I think we are creating something here. That's it. Maybe next time I will show you a little bit more of really awesome connections I have created online, even though I think I might, have to delete my account because, I might have some love going on with M. We might get married soon. You never know. But thank you. Veronica, do you want to share the pencils and brushes or not anymore?